Good afternoon from Samoa for the second Battler Lounge series today. Welcome again. I hope you all joined us for our first session this morning. This will be our second session, and we're going to be focused on pig management. First of all, obviously, thanks to our sponsors, the European Union and PROTEGE project, Global Environment Facility, and the New Zealand Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Trade. As you know, this is Joseph PC. I'm David Mobley, and we're looking forward to joining you for another hour of interactive, collaborative discussion. Today in our Battler Lounge, we have all our guests are remote. You can see Joseph and I, it's only us. We're on the couch today rather than the side chairs. We have some great guests today. We have 4 invasive species coordinators and 1 technical expert. The technical expert who's going to join us today to assist us with our pig discussion is Richard Griffiths from Island Conservation. Good afternoon, Richard. We have Hagid Tongatule from Niue, the recently announced 2020 Battler of the Year. Good afternoon, Hagid. We have Salma Howie from New Caledonia and Carol joining us. Good afternoon, ladies. We have Marie from Monrolan from Wallace and Fortuna. Good afternoon, Marie. And we have Billy Hakamoto from Tonga. Thank you very much. Also joining us in the session today, which you cannot see, we have Dominic Sadler, invasive species coordinator from the PROTEGE project, who is running the polls, etc. for us, technical interactions. We have Isabel Rash, the GEF-6 invasive species coordinator, who is running the session for us. We have Charlie, our IT guy, and Bradley Meyer is in the back corner, ready to jump in if needed. So welcome, and let's get on with it.
Yeah.
Okay, Joseph. So we're going to be running these sessions into the future. We're hoping to do them every month. It gives us an opportunity to all be together regularly and discuss and talk about issues. When we notify people of when these sessions are on, we send it out to the pull list. So if anyone who's listening is not on the pull list, you don't have to have any particular qualification to be on the pull list. The general pull list is for anyone who's interested in invasive species in the Pacific. And we really don't send out a lot of information directly, but if you'd like to be informed of when we have these Battler Lounge sessions and you're not on the pull list, please email Joseph and we can rectify that so you know when we're going to be having these sessions in the future. Today we're going to be talking about managing pigs in the Pacific. We're going to look at different pig management goals and some of the methods that are used around the Pacific. We're really hoping that everyone learns from each other's experience and sharing success and challenges of the different methods. It's fantastic that we have 4 national/territorial invasive species coordinators here with us to share their journey. I know that everyone has an interest in pigs. Most people love to eat pigs. We have a few polls going. One of them is, what's your favorite pig recipe or way of eating pig? We're always dealing with conflicts of interest. You know, people love pigs as they're used for food, they're used for ceremonies, but they're also really damaging to our environment. Maybe Joseph, would you be able to give us a few words about how pigs are looked upon in Samoa? Do they have a ceremonial or traditional use?
Yep. Thanks, Steve. Of course, pig is the #1 animal in Samoa, and you know why, because it's provide us meat, and we are meat lovers. So pig is really an important animal in our culture. It plays a role in every aspect of our culture, whether it's ceremonies, whether it's social events like weddings and stuff. So yeah, it plays a significant role in our culture generally. Families that own pigs here, they look at it as a source of wealth that makes them look good at large functions for which the pigs are needed. And pigs are used to show respect for someone. So if someone from overseas travels to Samoa, pig is one of the ways that we show our appreciation and also show respect to that person.
Is that why you're always turning up to my house with a pig?
That's why I always come with a pig to your house when you have a birthday. Yeah, but on special occasions like weddings, as I mentioned before, pigs are usually killed to provide meat for celebration. And in some ceremonies, the pig is given as a gift. A wedding is not held unless pork is there. So mostly when it's roasted, Samoans love their roasted pig. But also on another case, in village meetings, when someone is discussed in a meeting to have broken a law or village law, that person is usually penalized or punished by asking him to provide maybe 50 or 100 pigs in the next village meeting. So in summary, pig is really, it plays a huge role in how our culture plays out. And actually, when pigs are apportioned or when they are divided, there's a special way to do that. So there are specific people in which the several parts of the pig is given to, and that is to do with the hierarchy in our culture. So it's that important, and it's also taught in our primary school up to the college level how to divide this pig, what part to give to this person and this person. So yeah, it's pretty important. It's a pretty important animal here, despite causing a lot of issues to our ecosystems and the environment in general.
Yeah, it's quite an issue, isn't it? I mean, being so intertwined with the culture, but also impacting on the environment.
Yeah, everyone loves a good feed until their crops are being destroyed or damaged by pigs.
That's when you go out and eat more, right?
Yeah, well, we need to kill more of them.
We're lucky to have a guest today, Richard Griffiths. He's dealt a lot with pigs and moving them from islands. Richard, would you like to maybe talk about some of the more general impacts of pigs on the environment?
Yeah, kia ora, Dave, and kia ora tātou, everyone. Really interesting to hear how they divide the pigs in Samoa. In Palau, it's the same too. They apportion the different parts of the pigs to the different members of the group, and it's different state by state. So yeah, fascinating. In answer to your query, David, about the impacts that pigs can have, they vary. Pigs are omnivorous. They don't just eat plants, and they can be voracious predators, eating anything that's running around or nesting on the ground. Seabirds that nest on the ground are not safe. Turtle nests, they will root up turtle nests and destroy the eggs or the hatchlings. They eat crabs, land crabs, and also a lot of the life that is living on the shoreline. They also damage crops, as Joseph mentioned. They can be very damaging, and that's one of the primary reasons why in Niue they're controlling them there. They can cause pollution of groundwater supplies and the coast. They, because of their ability to root up areas, they can cause erosion, significant erosion in some parts of the Pacific. The Marquesas is a good example where that's occurring. They spread disease. They're also, yes, a vector for some diseases that affect us. And because of their ability to dig up the ground, and they can support other problems like mosquito populations. They can create perfect habitat for mosquitoes to breed. Mosquitoes flourish and some diseases become more of a problem as a consequence. I could go on, but that's a good start for you, David. We can't hear you right at this point.
Sorry, I got to get onto that. So similar, in a similar way to rats, they impact many parts of the ecosystem, not just plants and eggs, but also insects, lizards. Basically, they eat anything. Is that correct?
That's a pretty good snapshot.
Thank you, Richard. Marie, we know that you're planning to eradicate or remove pigs off quite a few islets in the Wallace Lagoon prior to rat eradications. Would you like to talk to us a little bit about you know, what are the impacts on the islets that you're trying to limit, and what sort of methods you're thinking about using to get rid of the pigs, and maybe what some of the issues are? Is there issues with the community, or?
Yeah, sure.
I know that pigs in Wallace are very popular. I've certainly eaten my share of pigs in Wallace, and I've also noticed that the ceremonial use of pigs in Wallace is quite extensive as well.
Yes, ceremony and customs is pretty much the same as Samoa, as Joseph said. So here in Wallis, most of the pigs on the main islands are parked in, so there is fences around, so it's not a big issue on the main island. But some people bring pigs on the islets around the island, two islets, and they've been there for maybe 20 years now. And for what we can see is that they've done a lot of damage in the forest. We saw on the undergrowth that there is lots of mud pools, so lots of damages on the native trees and the seedlings. So there is no forest recovery anymore under the forest, which is a shame, because one of the islands has got a lot of rare species, forest species. And there is lots of impact on biodiversity as well, as said Richard. So the population in Wallis told us that they see less crabs on the islands. So it's quite interesting to see that the people from Wallis told us what they saw. And so we have a project on PROTEGE, which is the main goal is to eradicate rats on all of the islets in Wallis. But in order to do that, we have to eradicate the pigs first on 2 islands. So the one you can see now, it's called Nukuatea. So it's about 0.6 square kilometers. And as you can see, it's quite a big island with lots of cliffs, and the landscape is not easy. So we've been exchanging with the CIN in New Caledonia to see with them what would be the best method to kill the pigs. And according to the landscape, the easier way to take them off would be to set some park traps on the island and then to take them off. So we've been there a couple of times and we found 2 locations that could be the best places to catch them. The only thing is we have now to build the park and then try to find the best way to take them out the island. Because I've got a nice team here in Wallis. So we are 4 people working on invasives, 3 in Wallis and 1 in Futuna. But we can't be 3 or 4 times a week on the islands. So we have to find a way, maybe with the locals, to bring the pigs from the island to the main island.
Wow, that'll be difficult.
Yeah.
What do the owners of the pigs, would they prefer you to deliver the pigs alive back to the main island, or are they not too concerned about what happens with the pigs?
They asked first if it would be possible to bring them back alive, but on the other island called Faijoa, it's been tried before, but the pigs didn't survive. They stay alive for maybe 1 or 2 months and then they die. So we told them that we could try, but it's not. We can assure them that they're still alive. So they're okay. Now it seems okay to kill them. And what we have to find too is that how to bring them back and give it to the families so they can use the meat. So that would be difficult as well because it's very warm here as everywhere in the Pacific. So we have to find a way to bring back the meat in a good state, I could say.
Great. Well, that's going to be quite a challenge, and hopefully today, Marie, you get maybe a few more options. We've had an interesting question come in from Dr. Greg Shirley. He would like to possibly discuss the merits of control and eradication methods, including using broadcasting toxins in tropical island situation. That's a big question. Maybe Richard might be able to answer that fairly concisely.
It's a tough question. I did write a chat answer to Greg. I think that's up there now. I think for most Pacific countries, they would like to hang on to their pigs because they're such an enormously important resource. But it's the pigs that are running wild, the feral pigs, that are the issue in most cases. And for many islands, it's just simply a matter of removing those pigs from the wild, bringing them back into captivity, or eating them. So I would suggest that eradication is not really a potential solution for many islands, many inhabited islands, but control certainly is.
Thanks, Richard. Dr. Shirley, I hope that satisfies your curiosity. We're going to move along. So we looked at removing pigs. The next way of managing pigs we're going to look at is trying to lower the impact of pigs, which needs to happen over larger areas. Obviously, we can't always get rid of pigs totally. We have 2 guests today who are currently doing that. The first one is Hagid Tongatuli. Welcome, Hagid. I know that that you guys have been working on that for some time. We might just, before we get to Hagid, we might just watch a video of where Hagid started some years ago when they're trying to kill their first pig using modern methods.
Hey! Hey! Get out! Hey! Hey! Get out! Get out of it, Ace! Get out of it! Hey!
Is it big?
Got him. Boys, my other dog's overheated. Either that or he's being ripped. Holy shit. I didn't want the first one to be a big one. That'll be nice. He rips. He rips. Good boy. Good boy. This is a good sized ball, boys. It's a very big ball. Well done, bro. Can you hold this leg up, mate? Yeah. I don't want it to be I might push through here again. Let me do it. Listen. Got it. Hold that leg, don't let it go. I'll go check on my dog. Put the camera there, bro.
It's on video, brother. I videoed the whole thing.
Is he okay?
There's a big pig here. Ace, the champion lead dog for the finder. He came out and ran about a kilometre.
Is he okay? Yeah, he's over here, but he's got a rip to the mouth. See, big dogs like that, bro, they overheat here.
Oh, there's a lot of blood coming out of there, eh?
Yeah. Fuck, that's a good ball, boys.
Well done. One down. Well done, team. Especially the dogs, eh?
Yo, over here, bro.
Just got to find Jack.
Jack, over this way. Not a bad pig. It's a pretty good boar for anyone's standard. I had the two dogs. My holder, he's got a bit of heat exhaustion. He's also got a rip to the mouth, but lucky Ace hasn't. So a good effort by the dogs to stop something this big, and this type stuff, as you can see, like South Island stuff, mate. Well done.
Pretty thick, eh?
Pretty thick, pretty good.
Good job, boys.
And the best thing about it, I've got two really strong Niuean boys to carry. How about that?
Here's our two strong Niuean boys. Hug it.
I think we need to go rock, scissors, paper for that one, Aussie. Rock, scissors, paper for that one, mate.
And Poi.
Yo, Jack!
Say good day, bro.
Over here, bro!
Niuean
Over
language.
this way. Keep coming towards
Solid.
me. A very good pig, my boys, I'm telling you. That is a good ball. Look how fat it is.
Some big tusks on that.
Not every day you catch a ball like this, mate.
No.
Ace. Ace.
How much do you think that would weigh, Glenn?
Oh, mate, it'll be 100 and... Oh, could be 120, in between 120 and 140 maybe.
Nice.
That's his hug, it's canoe. Put on his back.
Good try, mate. So that's the effort that's required to do it by hunting. As you can see, it's a tough job. I was lucky enough to be there on that day. Hagrid, you've come a long way since that day. You can see in the video how a little bit apprehensive Hagrid and Poi were when we came across that pig. Hagrid, what do you think has made a difference, the biggest difference to your hunting program since back then? I think that was in 2014, maybe 2013. You could correct me. You know, what is the advantage of using the dogs compared to how you used to try and manage pigs? previously.
Okay, thank you, Dave. So before we had the feral pigs management program in place for Niue, we had a bounty system in place where each feral pig that was killed by anyone, especially hunters and farmers, the department or the government will pay out $25 for each pig. And over the years, we saw that there were a few problems with this method, especially with people, I would say, bringing in domesticated pigs' tails and all that kind of problems that comes with the bounty system. But then in 2014, I guess we did have hunters on the island, but not all hunters really didn't use specially trained dogs at that stage. And that was one of the, we conducted a pilot feral pigs operational experiment to find out which method we could use on Niue that would benefit us. So we kind of tried 4 methods. So the methods were, we used noose snares, which is just using a strong enough rope tied up into a noose. We kind of when you used large enclosures as well, which if you go on YouTube these days, there's a lot of videos on those kind of massive enclosures where you try to lure the pigs in using some sort of lure, and then by using the trail cameras, which feeds directly to a mobile phone, you can kind of see the pigs going in and out of those enclosures, and then by using those cameras, you can tell when the pigs are actually in the enclosure, so you can kind of send off a message like gate closed, and then the gate of the lured enclosure will drop. And we also looked at the use of toxins, which is, and the toxin that we were looking at using was sodium nitrate. But there were a few disadvantages in some of those methods, which we ended up not using. And if anyone is interested, I'll be happy to discuss all of those methods that we use. But for our session, I would just like to stick with the method that we kind of found that was effective for the kind of pigs that we had here on Niue and the situation that we were in. So the method that we found very effective was by using specially trained hunting dogs, but not just using the dogs itself, but also with the GPS systems. We found that by using this method, the dogs could easily locate and find the pigs. And then by using the GPS, you would know exactly where the dogs are and where the pig is. So all we had to do was use the GPS and go to where the dogs are. And most of the times we have to shoot the pig, but there's a lot of large wandering boars here on Niue. And since 2014, our team has killed around 400 pigs, which is a lot. In any given time here in Niue, has been estimated that there are around, I would say, 400 to 1,000 pigs at one given time. And I think the work that we have and our team has done over the past has really lowered the population of the feral pigs here in Niue. And not only is our environment reaping the benefits, especially the land crabs, but also our crop plantation farmers. Because a lot of the pigs that are found here in Niue, you usually find them around areas where there are a lot of coconuts or where there are a lot of crop plantations. And just by killing a few pigs around in Niue can make a big difference in some of the, especially the taro plantations that we have here in Niue.
Great, yeah, it's really important, isn't it, to get the community on side, particularly potentially people that may not agree with getting rid of the pigs. Do many people on Niue before this today Do they used to eat the feral pigs?
I guess everyone in the Pacific loves pigs, and especially you could say that they are free-range pork, especially the feral pigs here in Niue. People often find that they're in great shape, heaps of fat. So I guess one of the benefits of actually having this kind of program here in Niue is that even when we do catch the pig on any given person's land, we actually we clean it up and we just give it back to the person, which makes them happy and then allows us to continually hunt in anyone's land here in Niue. And we haven't had any kind of issues with land ownership or with the team hunting in any part of the island.
Oh, that's really good news. We had a question from Lisa. How many dogs have you lost to pigs, and how much does it cost to train the dogs?
Yes, so to date, we have lost, that's over 6 years, 4 dogs, mainly to injuries sustained from especially the big wild boars, but also to especially the high temperature that is often found in not only in Niue, but in the Pacific Islands. So especially in terms of hunting times, we would like to be hunting only in the early mornings, usually from 5 a.m. to around 8 a.m., which is only about 4 hours. And then in late afternoons, usually from 5 to hopefully around 7. And the team has also have been hunting at nighttime, but then they requires you to carry large spotlights. And it's a lot more dangerous, not only for the dogs, but also for the guys out there doing the job. And sorry, what was the second question, Dave?
The second question is how much does it cost?
It takes to,
Yeah, how much does it cost to train the dogs? Do you usually purchase the dogs, or do you train the dogs themselves, and what sort of costs is associated with that?
yeah, so so part of the program, the first dog that we actually brought up to Niue was one that was actually catching pigs already. So that dog that we purchased from was kind of given to us for free by former All Black Glenn Osborne. So that dog was already trained to catch pigs when they brought it up to Niue. And then the second batch of dogs that we brought up were little pups. So what we brought up the pups, and we kind of used that first dog to be the lead dog and train the other dogs, the next 2 dogs. And what the next step we had was a breeding program where we started breeding our own pups here in Niue. And then obviously we've had 3 other dogs already catching pigs, and all those other dogs will do is just learn from the lead dogs. But then it actually takes a lot of time and effort for yourself to teach your dogs how to actually catch pigs and effectively catch pigs. And so it takes a long time to kind of establish a program like this. But we have been very lucky to be involved with some of the leading hunters in New Zealand, where they have been instrumental in not only in our capacity of building, but also in providing us with these dogs. Because a big hunting dog usually purchased in NZ will be roughly around 10 grand. That's from what hunters have been saying.
Wow. You guys have been lucky. You're doing a great job. Let's hope that the breeding program goes well and you manage to build up the capacity, and there's some more younger people who are keen to get in there and give hunting a go. Okay, we might
Yes, so
go to our next. Carry on. I get here.
That's all right, Dave. I'm happy to answer any kind of questions if anyone has any questions. Thank you.
We just had a question come in from Sued Beaujolais. Based on the impacts of pigs, what level do you need to reduce the pig population to reduce the impacts on the forest? Maybe Richard might be able to, is that a general question or specifically for Niue? It's probably a generalist question. Would you like to have a go at answering that, Sued? Richard?
I can. Haggard probably has a good response too. It would depend on the species that you're trying to recover. If it's a ground-dwelling sensitive species, then the numbers of pigs in the area would have to be reduced to near zero or completely eliminated. If you're not so worried about those really sensitive species, then as Haggard pointed out, you can get really good recovery just from reducing the number of pigs in that area. Haggard, did you want to add to that?
I guess in Niue's case, the species that we kind of looked at in terms of impacts from feral pigs in some of the areas that we're hunting in is the coconut crabs. And especially with feral pigs, especially if they are found in an area where there are a lot of coconut crabs, is that just one pig will actually eat a lot of coconut crabs. And if you remove that one pig from that one area, you can actually see the dramatic increase in the amount of coconut crabs that you will actually find in the area. So that's one native species that we kind of use as our key indicator in how successful we are controlling the amount of feral pigs in any given area here in Niue.
Thanks, Haggard. We have one more quick question from Apelli. Have you encountered any mother pigs during your hunts? And if so, what do you do with the young ones?
Oh, okay, good question. So usually, especially with the sows here in Niue, they're really fast. So they like to run away and just leave the young ones behind. But the way that these dogs are trained is that they will not only kill the pigs, but they'll kill piglets, and doesn't matter how small they are, they'll just eat them up. You know, it's not a job for people who are faint-hearted, so it's kind of something that you get used to. Because you know, over time, these little piglets will grow up and they'll be the ones doing the damage to the environment. So you'd rather get rid of them while they're still small and not being able to cause more damage to the environment.
Good answer. Thank you, Haggard. That was very informative and drew quite a few questions. Moving on, so we're still dealing with areas where we can't really eradicate pigs. Selma and Carol are working in New Caledonia, including the Loyalty Islands, and they are going to try and use traps to capture or lower the number of pigs. And I understand that they've got some training coming up in that in the next month. Is a trap just a trap, or does the local context determine any kind of adaptations you need to make to your trap, or how you go about trapping?
Oui, merci David. Effectivement, nous on travaille sur des zones assez vastes. Chacune de ces zones, pour chacune de ces zones, on a un objectif de régulation qui est d'environ 10 000 hectares. Il faut savoir que sur ces zones, on n'a pas que des cochons qui nous posent problème. En Calédonie, on a aussi le cerf rusa, qui est importé de Java. Et donc, en fait, on met plusieurs types d'actions de régulation en place pour le projet PROTEGE. Et effectivement, les pièges-cages sont une de ces méthodes de régulation. On aura aussi les collets-cordes. Et pour ces deux méthodes, actuellement, on est en train de faire des formations Donc, ces formations, elles concernent les populations qui habitent autour des zones qui sont concernées par le projet. Donc, ce sont des gens qui sont en tribu. Peut-être que Carole, on peut commencer par vous en dire un peu plus sur la méthode du piège-cage.
Donc oui, bonjour à tous. Donc, comme vient de le dire Selma, on met en place en fait au niveau de nos formations deux types de pièges qui sont mis en avant auprès de la population. Donc, ce sont deux méthodes de piégeage, le collet-corde et le piège-cage. Ce sont des pièges qui ont été expérimentés par le conservateur d'espaces naturels depuis 2009. Donc, ce sont aussi des méthodes qui sont déjà mises en place par la population, les piégeurs et les chasseurs ici en Nouvelle-Calédonie. Voilà.
Donc, ce sont des méthodes qui sont peu coûteuses, surtout pour le collet-corde, assez faciles à mettre en place, bien que ça demande quand même une petite expérience au début pour se familiariser avec le nœud, pour bien réaliser l'appâtage pour le cas de la cage. La cage, quelqu'un peut la monter, on peut la monter soi-même, il faut juste posséder un poste à souder, quelques rudiments de technique pour la monter. Mais c'est des matériels qui sont facilement accessibles et peu coûteux. Donc, Carole montre en formation l'utilisation de ces deux méthodes. Et on procède aussi à la mise à disposition de plusieurs de ces cages par tribu. Voilà. Et derrière, donc, on attend un suivi aussi des gens qui nous disent combien de cochons ils ont capturés. On reste disponible aussi pour que les gens puissent nous appeler, nous dire s'ils ont un problème pour la mise en place des pièges et des cages. Voilà. Et donc, si je reviens sur les autres méthodes de régulation, en dehors de ces pièges-cages et de ces collets, il y aura aussi de la régulation par la chasse, avec des chasseurs participatifs et aussi des chasseurs professionnels. Donc là, ce seront des actions de chasse menées avec des chiens ou non pour la chasse participative en fonction des endroits, les gens ont des chiens. Et pour les chasseurs professionnels, eux, ils se concentreront vraiment dans les zones de forêt dense où les gens en fait ne chassent pas habituellement. Voilà, donc c'est finalement, nous, le but recherché à travers ce projet, c'est de diminuer les impacts des espèces envahissantes, donc le cerf et le cochon, et sur des zones qui sont prioritaires parce que très densément recouvertes de forêts, mais qui ne sont pas très habitées. Donc voilà, notre objectif premier, c'est cette régulation et on commence tout juste et par ces formations au piégeage.
That's really interesting, Selma and Carol. I was wondering, I mean, it's fantastic that you obviously have strong support from the community. Is there concern or has anything eventuated where communities have used these traps and they have been vandalized, or does the whole community generally support the capturing of these pigs?
Alors, il existe déjà des pièges un peu plus traditionnels, on va dire, qui sont utilisés par les gens. Je pense à des fosses qui sont recouvertes, en fait, donc les cochons dedans. Donc, ce genre de piège existe déjà. Les gens se servent aussi de collets, mais qui ne sont pas sous forme de cordes, qui sont sous forme de fils métalliques, de câbles. Donc, ce qui pose parfois problème si, par exemple, un chien venait à se prendre dedans, il ne pourrait pas forcément se libérer. Donc, voilà, les gens piègent et chassent déjà de manière régulière, mais notre but, c'est vraiment d'intensifier en fait ces efforts de régulation en partageant des nouveaux dispositifs qui sont accessibles aussi pour eux. Voilà, ça, c'est vraiment notre but.
Oh, that's great. Thanks for sharing that with us. That's really interesting. I guess next we're going to go to a different method or a different goal. so, you know, sometimes people can't even control them over large areas. You know, what can we do about pigs if you have a special site? I'd like to introduce Viliami Hakamaltu from Tonga, and he has been trying to exclude pigs from a site called Mount Talau, where there is an endemic whistler. It's a very important site. They started off years ago with a Tongan fence, but I'll let Hagit describe that to you all, what they've done over the years and what they've got now. Good afternoon, Vili. If he's still there.
Mic's mute.
Vili, your mic's unmuted.
Yeah, malo Dave.
How are you, Vili?
Oh, I'm
Could you
good.
turn your camera on and
Yep.
I know the internet is not that good in Nuku'alofa, but let's give it a go.
What I'm going to talk a bit is about excluding pigs, and I would like to talk about the Mount Talau as a case study for my part from Tonga. As we all know that any restoration site is needed to exclude pigs. Even every household, you don't need pigs to get into your yard. The same as restoration site. So on Mount Talau, there's a need to exclude pigs from Mount Talau under the GEF-6 project. And from the previous project, GEF-4, yeah, we start trying to exclude pigs from Mount Talau in that project, and this one is more advanced. We managed to install a pig-proof fence at Mount Talau a few weeks ago. And the important to excluding pigs is to give a natural habitat for the biodiversity. And not only that, but it's also pigs. Excluding pigs could save the native seed species growing up, and lowering impacts of pigs from manure restoration site is an important part of our project. So at the moment, we managed to completely install a fence. It's one of our sites in Wawa'u, which is called Mount Talau, and it means there's no pigs can access to the site, because we are trying to save the two endemic species in Mount Talau. As you all know, the Tongan whistler and Casuarina pluvari, one of our endemic two species found in Mount Talau. And the objective of our excluding pigs is to save and try to conserve the rare plants and hanging. We also run a red management there, but it's working well from the past few years. But we are focusing now on trying to manage the pigs from accessing to the site. So from what we had completed a few weeks ago, the fence, and we look forward to see there's good ground cover of dead leaves at the site, which give us a shelter for the native species like lizard, etc. And we hope we'll find out the good outcome from avoiding or from excluding pigs from Mount Talau's restoration site. So that's what I can talk about excluding pigs from any site. Taking Mang Talau as a case study from Tonga.
Thanks, Philly. Is that, I mean, I know from going to the site many times that in the past the local community used to take their pigs up there. Has a local community in support of keeping the pigs off Mount Talau now? Has that been something you've had to deal with or your partners have had to deal with?
It's an issue because the local community can't have their own fence for their pigs, so that's why we're fencing Mount Talau and to avoid pig accessing to the site. And I think the fence we had installed is very strong enough to avoid pigs coming in through to the site. From now on until we don't know, but there is a good sign that we see this. Mount Talau now is saving from the pigs accessing to the site under the project.
Great, thanks you, Viliami. So there's an option if you have a smaller site and you have an ongoing pig problem, you can always manage a specific site for a purpose, and you know, it's a one-off cost with a bit of maintenance, and that's certainly an option. We're trying to look at our polls. My eyes are not good enough to see that far. Joseph, can you see how those are going? Very hard to see. There's definitely some clear winners in the polls.
So first question was, are feral pigs an issue in your country? 71% say yes, and 14% say no. 14% also say, I don't know. So the second question is, do pigs have a cultural or ceremonial values in your country? 81% say yes, and 5% say no.
That's pretty clear kind of answer.
Are pigs being managed in your country? 57% say yes, and 29% say no.
So we could do with some more pig management.
Fourth question is, are pigs kept in pens in your country? 33% say yes, 33% say mostly, and 19% say no.
That's obviously a key thing, is if we can keep the pigs that we want contained. Oh, there we go. We've got it up on the big screen. That's good.
Yes. So the fifth question is, are pigs hunted for food in your country? 95% say yes.
Everyone likes to eat pig. What is your favorite pork dish? Bacon is a clear winner there. Spit roast, sweet and sour pork. Chinese are definitely influencing our food. I'd certainly like sweet and sour pork. So bacon is the clear winner. Spit roast second. Sweet and sour pork third. Umu fourth. Barbecue fifth. Oh, what's sausage? Can't quite see the result for sausage. Oh, zero. No one likes pork sausages. Certainly one of my favourites. We're very close to wrapping up the session here. Thank you all especially to our guests, thank you so much for joining us. I think it's been a very worthwhile session. We've looked at basically three different objectives for managing pigs, trying to eradicate them, trying to lower their impact, and trying to exclude them. And I think we've also had successful results from all three of those methods in the Pacific. Obviously, the challenges that we all face in managing pigs, because everyone loves pigs, are going to continue into the future. So it's really a question of how we can go about trying to keep these cultural traditions and the use of pigs alive while trying to limit the damage to our environment. Have you got anything to add on to that, Joseph?
All good.
All good. So thanks, guys. We really appreciate it. Again, if you want to, if you'd like to take part in the Battler Lounge sessions in the future, as we said, please email Joseph, and we'll put you on the list so that we can send you out a notification. Thanks again to our sponsors. Thanks to my team. Hope everybody enjoyed the discussion. Go out and have some pork for lunch. We'll see you next time.
Thank you, Dave.
Sorry.